Alex Eala trains with retired tennis legend Rafael Nadal. Let that sink in for a second. 1 year after Rafa hung up his racket and walked away from the sport that made him a 22-time Grand Slam champion, he's back on court in Mallorca, grinding forehands with a 20-year-old Filipina lefty who's about to flip the entire script on what Philippine tennis can be. This isn't some celebrity photo op or feel-good content for the gram. This is real. This is the kid who literally grew up in his academy, who absorbed every ounce of that Nadal mentality, who's now ranked world number 50 and making history every time she steps on court. And when Rafa posts, "After a year, it felt great to be back on a tennis court. It was great to practice with you, Alex Eala," you realize this isn't just about tennis anymore. This is about legacy, about passing the torch, about a girl from Quezon City who bet everything on a dream and is now living proof that the grind pays off. Alexandra Alex Eala was born May 23, 2005 in Quezon City, Philippines. And by the time she was 13 or 14 years old, she'd already made a decision that most kids can't even imagine. She packed her bags, left her family, moved halfway across the world to Spain, and enrolled in the Rafa Nadal Academy in Manacor, Mallorca. She didn't just train there for a few months or a summer camp session. She spent 6 years of her life at that academy, balancing classes at the Rafa Nadal School with brutal daily training sessions that turned raw talent into professional-level skill. She graduated from the academy in 2023, and by then, the world was already starting to notice. But back when she first arrived, she was just another kid with a dream, trying to survive in an environment where Rafa's work ethic, discipline, and refusal to make excuses was literally the air you breathed. The academy wasn't just about hitting balls. It was about copying the mindset of a legend whose name was on the gate and whose trophies lined the walls. And Alex, she soaked it all in. Her first pro title came right there on Rafa's Island. In January 2021, still a teenager, she won an ITF W15 event in Manacor, Spain, lifting her first professional trophy in the same place where she'd been learning what it meant to be a pro since she was a kid. That moment was huge, not just because it was her first title, but because it proved she could turn all those years of academy life into actual results. But honestly, Alex's resume was already stacked way before she started making noise on the WTA Tour. As a junior, she was an absolute problem. At just 12 years old, she won the prestigious Les Petits tournament in 2018. The same event that crowned future legends like Nadal, Djokovic, and so many others when they were kids. She climbed all the way to ITF Junior World number 2, grabbed Junior Grand Slam doubles titles at the 2020 Australian Open and the 2021 French Open, and then went full main character mode by winning the 2022 US Open Girls Singles title, becoming the first Filipino ever to win a Junior Grand Slam in singles. That US Open title wasn't just a trophy. It was a statement that Alex Eala was built for the biggest stages in tennis. Then 2025 happened, and it was like someone hit fast forward on her entire career. She started the year ranked around world number 140, outside the top 100, and still grinding through qualifiers at bigger events. She made the semifinals of the Canberra International in January, which was a solid start, but nobody was ready for what was about to happen in Miami. As a wildcard ranked 140, Alex walked into the Miami Open, a WTA 1000 event with the biggest names in tennis, and proceeded to go absolutely nuclear. She beat Jelena Ostapenko in straight sets. Then she took down Madison Keys, who was ranked world number 5 at the time. And then, in the quarterfinals, she did the unthinkable. She beat world number 2 Iga Swiatek, the reigning French Open champion and one of the most dominant players on tour, in straight sets 6-2, 7-5. She became the first Filipino ever to reach a WTA 1000 semifinal, the first Filipino to beat multiple top 5 players and major champions at tour level, and she did it all as a wild card. The tennis world was shook. And watching from Spain, Rafael Nadal jumped online and posted, "We are extremely proud of you, Alex. What an incredible tournament. Let's keep dreaming." That message wasn't from a random fan. It was from the guy whose academy raised her, whose blueprint she'd been following for 6 years. After Miami, Alex didn't just get headlines and social media buzz, she got results. Her ranking jumped more than 60 spots, rocketing her into the WTA Top 100 for the first time in her career. That milestone alone would have been enough to make 2025 historic. But she wasn't done. On the grass courts of England, she reached the quarterfinals at the Ilkley Open and then made her first ever WTA Tour final at Eastbourne, a WTA 250 event where she finished runner-up to Maya Joint in a heartbreaking 3-set thriller. She also made her Wimbledon main draw debut in 2025, taking on defending champion Barbara Krejcikova on center court and pushing her to 3 sets before falling. That Wimbledon moment was massive, not just because it was her first time at the All England Club, but because it showed she could compete with the absolute best on the sport's biggest stage. The summer continued with more firsts. At the 2025 US Open, Alex beat Clara Towson in the first round in an epic comeback, rallying from 1-5 down in the third set to win in a tiebreak 6-3, 2-6, 7-6. That win made her the first Filipino ever to win a Grand Slam main draw singles match in the Open era, another piece of history for the books. She lost in the second round to Cristina Buccia, but the damage was done. Alex Eala was no longer a promising prospect or a name to watch. She was a legitimate top 100 player who could beat anybody on her day. And then in September, she captured her first WTA 125 singles title at the Guadalajara Open, coming back from a set down to defeat Pana Udvardi 1-6, 7-5, 6-3, becoming the first Filipino to win a WTA-level singles title. That title pushed her to a career-high ranking of world number 50 in early November 2025, making her the first Filipina ever to crack the WTA Top 50 and the highest-ranked Filipino player in tennis history. By the time her 2025 season wrapped, the numbers were straight up insane. She finished the year with a 40-26 singles win-loss record and a career record of 194-117 in professional singles. She's earned over $1.36 million in career prize money. She stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, plays left-handed with a two-handed backhand, and has already collected 5 ITF singles titles, 1 WTA 125 title, and multiple ITF doubles titles, all before turning 21. In juniors, she stacked 3 Grand Slam titles, peaked as ITF Junior World number 2, and proved early that she was built for the pressure. Against top 10 players at the WTA level, she owns wins over Madison Keys and Iga Swiatek, giving her a 2-2 record versus top 10 opponents. Now fast forward to November 2025, exactly 1 year after Rafael Nadal played his last professional match at the Davis Cup Finals and officially retired. He walks back onto the court at his academy in Mallorca, and standing across from him is Alex Eala, the kid who trained under his roof for 6 years, who graduated just 2 seasons earlier, and who's now ranked world number 50 and rewriting Philippine tennis history. They trade heavy forehands, they laugh mid-rally, and the academy posts clips and photos that basically scream, "You're carrying this forward now." For Alex, this wasn't just a practice session or a publicity stunt, it was validation. It was a reminder that the guy whose blueprint she copied, whose mentality she absorbed, still believes her ceiling is way higher than world number 50.